to go into your Clip Studio and then have this do this? All right. Do you know how trippy it is to have your OBS basically, or go to game capture and then put your own game in it? I don't know why I said it like that. I'm being mildly lazy to that. All right. So this isn't pretty. It's just working. And that means more than anything else. Yes? Yeah? where we at? So check it. I now have a mildly working character select out of picking which character cards you want to run. I currently don't have a deck clicking yet, so you can't fill out a deck, but you can basically pick whatever 3 characters you would like. So we'll go with everybody's favorite, which is Armor Maid, and then I'll chuck in Dancer, and then I'll do the crazy bunny Earl. Yeah. We click over here for our confirmation button. This is a placeholder button currently. This is not the button that's going to be there, nor is the background here. But it takes us to a little menu, chat. Not only does it take us to a little menu, our other 2 cards are placed down here at the bottom. Yeah. We have our 1 card on the left. We have 2 health bars on the top. And I have 3 buttons basically here. One's the ability button. That doesn't need to be there for this character. It only needs to be here for very specific characters. We have the light attack button. And then we have the heavy attack button. So I'll go with the heavy first. Now you might be asking yourself, why did this number pop up? And now I'll finally talk about a mechanic of my game I have not said out loud much because I wanted to make sure I had a physical copy of my game before someone tried to rip me off. My game has a dice system that basically counts how many combos you get off of your light attack. So if we were to attack the monk right now, I got 3 hits in for my light attack. Yeah? And she's finished. Get rolled. Right now, I have the only bare basics. So it does attacks. It tells you what your turns are. It gives you how many rolls you got. You basically have your cards down here, but these aren't movable yet. And I'm about to get to the point where you can make the cards switch, basically, in locations. Very bare bones, but it's working. Yeah? It's working. It responds. The enemy attacks back. That's a whole other thing. It's attacking back randomly right now, but it's there. It quantifies each health for every character. I can't go back yet. I have to reopen it and go back again. Yes, Game of Blade. It's the same card game we've been talking about for a while now. Brigand, Onmyoji, Bomber. There. So the one thing I gotta do is get everybody's abilities up to par. Ooh. There we go. Get everybody's abilities up to par. I still won. Freak you. I gotta make sure that people's also, how are you doing to that? I gotta make sure that people's abilities activate. I gotta make sure that the weapon triangle is working correctly. I obviously have to overhaul the UI. I'm debating if I'm gonna have this do like Pokemon, where I have kind of like 2 sprites on stream. So work with me real quick, yeah? I'm debating if I'm gonna do something like, ooh, that's not a good custom. There we go. Like this. So whatever playable character you pick has like the Pokemon window, so you see like the back of them or whatever. Exactly like at the Brigand here, so her sword's like right there. Right? And then the opponent character, the monk chick, will just have her like armed up, do the pose or whatever. Yeah. Like here, while the cards are on the side, and then that way I won't have to animate it like too crazy until I can afford it, because animation costs a lot of money. And then I could just have it do like slash effects or like wave effects and other things like that while it's moving, or while it's on its turn, and that should be easier to program. You still have the bottom cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You still have the switchable cards, your 2 characters. I don't know where I'm putting the Empress card. I don't know where I'm putting the Empress card or the deck. So that's going to be a whole thing. I guess technically I don't need the enemy cards here. I only have that for whenever the game actually becomes like multiplayer. But I guess I still wouldn't need that, would I? It doesn't really need to be an acknowledgement. Now, actually, if I'm taking for Pokemon's ideas, I should probably do something like this. Like that's there, and then you just have 2 cards up here. That's what they do, right? They do the little Pokeball thing that slides in and slides out. You can't actually tell whose cards are there. You just have to keep track of it. Thank you, chat. You gave me an idea. We'll be able to play against the CPU? Yes, actually. That's what I'm currently doing right now because no one else is there. What I want to do, I guess I can write that too. The way this is gonna work, I told you guys the story of the card game, at least at its bare bones. You're in a Mortal Kombat-like island, yes. You and a bunch of other people have basically been kidnapped because you guys can activate the cards that are in your hand, yeah. Here's spooky Mortal Kombat island. Here's a giant skull in the sky, just for the sake of it. It doesn't have a giant skull in the sky. I'm just drawing this so you feel a little bit more scared. Yeah. And basically, you and your set of champions are climbing your way to the top in order to get the Empress's crown. Yes? You're basically trying to get your character or characters to become the Empress. Yeah? That's why it's called Empress Wars. See? Oh, you see that? I'm cooking now. Oh, you guys are sitting here like, I'm not sure where he's going. Oh my God, I get it. So you're basically starting off our ground floor. Because my card game is already a lot like a fighting game, what I'm planning to do is probably have an arcade mode for CPU. So you get one battle here, one battle here, one battle here, one battle here, and then the final. And the reason why I had the Empress's ideas and I made them into cards, or like our extra ones, is because I might make you guys have an Empress boss fight with Mobster, Priest, and Berserker. But they won't have their normal card stacks or stats. I'm gonna make them like ridiculous. You have to try to get your 3-team through it. So it should be fun. It's gonna take time. Once I have the system ready, the level select stuff isn't hard. Making levels shouldn't be difficult either, because I only really need the win condition, lose condition, or whatever else. The tough part is if I want it to be per character, so I have them kind of going on their own little storyline, I'm either going to make individual versions of every one, or I need to have my code process which opponents should be at certain levels for the CPU deck, which I could technically store information for, like on a JSON file or something like that, or even like the script itself. But I'm not as versed in this, and again, half of my help or understanding of this is coming from ChatGPT, of me learning and understanding the code. I'm understanding the processes and how this works. Like for Fix 'em Up, I have individual levels. I tried doing the whole JSON file thing and then plugging in separate properties and yada yada, and it just didn't work. I need a group of friends. I know some of you guys code. I need to just talk with people about code, and I also need to just do more studying. That's also going to be a thing. I would just get my notebook down and would just be studying more. But basically, yes. That's why the Empress cards are basically made out of metal. They're made by an organization that is basically testing the cards themselves. And you've been kidnapped on some extra stuff. Don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm sure you and your Empress will make it all the way up to the top, and you won't die or have your soul taken from you. Yeah? On some Shang Tsung? Alright. So that's basically it right now. I could show you guys the code if you like. It's just been free. But I know that's like more boring than some of you guys. Let's go over here. Open it up. And then after this, I'll show you guys 3 new designs I'm working on. One you you just saw if you were here a little earlier or you missed it. But yeah, we got a lot I'm going through right now. Project manager. No, it's the wrong one. Not project manager. Not the debug either, right? Goodell? Can you make me feel less stupid today, please? That's the game. Yeah, that's a game. Alright, let me click out of this real quick. In, out. There we go. Alright. Yeah. We got a ton of crap going on. So my deck selection menu currently right now, nothing too crazy. All the characters right now are on a texture button. Did you just crash on me? Why did you crash on me, Rain? You literally didn't. Why did you crash? You literally didn't do anything. What the freak? All right. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, freak, we got texture buttons basically over here. Everything's under control. Oh, that's not good. Why do you keep crashing? Welcome to technical difficulties with LE. What the freak's going on? Why are you crashing? Maybe God's just saying no. Texture button. I'm saying the word again. You're not going to stop me. Here's all the texture buttons that are basically all the characters here. Once you press the texture button, you get to select what characters are there. It also will tell me down here if I've pressed all 3 characters. But you guys couldn't see that because it's in the outpost. Okay, we're good? Fine? Okay. Code right now for this hasn't been the most complicated, at least in the deck selection, but it's kind of freaking irritating. We have our arrays, we have our brackets, we have which characters belong in the brackets. We have them go into the global script so that way they know which information goes for what character. We have our function on freaking character press, so this way it knows which character was selected. If you press it again, it'll also go away. Your confirmation has to make sure you at least have 3 cards in your deck. Otherwise, it won't go through. It'll tell you that you need to press 3 characters before confirming. Because signals are freaking confusing to me half the time, and anytime ChatGPT tries to teach me how to do signals through code alone, I don't know, some of you guys are good at doing this. It just has not worked for me. I just have all the buttons going to this function. Or this function. All the buttons are basically sending their signal to this function and letting them know which character I have pressed. It's probably a very roundabout way of doing it. I'm sure there's a more simple way of doing that, but that is there. Can you make the cards hover a bit when over the mouse? No, not yet. So all of them right now only have their... Where's the inspector? Does it tell you in the inspector? It probably does. I just don't know actually... Ah! Why are you doing this? Was it just because we're on stream? Do you just think it's funny today? You've never done this before. Are we okay? Are we good? Are we good? There's literally nothing in the script that can make it do this. It's just doing it because it thinks it's funny today. There's nothing else. Can you guys see from here? You can see from here. I'm not doing anything else. Okay, we're not doing anything else. I'm staying right here. No, all of these things currently right now have the normal button and the button press version. It doesn't have anything else, so no hover yet. That's really easy to plug in. I'll do it later. Just right now, I just needed to know whether or not I pressed things. That was it. That's all I wanted to say. Freak you. This is where everything gets a little bit more complex right now. We basically have a lot of our variables. We have all the variables basically for health bar, for active character, for supporting character, supporting cards, yada yada. All this is being used. Turn indication, dice display. The player card area, that hasn't been used yet. That's going to be for when you drag and click the cards up and yada, yada, yada. We have all our different variables for different characters, but I think that was our previous one, so this one doesn't really work right now because we have it in global. I can actually delete this because that's not necessary anymore. We have our current turn to let the player know it's their turn. We have the whole letting you know whether or not you can act and whether you can choose. This basically just preloads everything into the game. So updating the card art so the cards change. And we have a function for that, basically. Functions, for everybody who doesn't know anything about coding, functions are like machines in your code that do things, yes? So you're basically building a machine to put an input into and then shoot out an output, yeah? So, hello? What is today and all the interruptions? My mother called me to let me know the internet is working. And then I said, I know the internet's working. I'm streaming. We had an output, I guess, at some portion, and she just assumed it was also us. But that's fine. I just told her, I appreciate it. We're back. Great. Are we here? Give me a 1 if you're still here, because like the 5th interruption to just explaining something very simple. Yeah? Anyways, it loads the global information of our card deck. So for our player card deck and the CPU one, right now the CPU one is preloaded, so it doesn't have a choice there yet. I don't know if I'm gonna let you just choose for the versus. Well, if it's versus mode, I'll just let you choose. But for the story stuff, I kind of have to have it already auto inputted, so we'll see how that goes. I'll figure out how to make that work a little better. This just tells me the print, so I know what's in the deck. That's not important for anything else. This sets their health bars to match whatever the character's value is, their maximum values. This is the same thing for the HP bars, are both current value, or the current value they have, and then the maximum value of the bar. That's supposed to be. How do you do the cards and their stats? Where are we at? Not character. I think it's in global. Yeah. So here, every character. So when you're doing coding, are we? Yes. TCG game. Gojo, I'll show you in a second. I'm still pretty bad at this, and I am learning half of my crap through ChatGPT. So everything I do, I'm learning. I'm learning, he says, very poorly. All my variables and basically everything is put up in here. So each character is a variable: attacker 1, attacker 2, attacker 3, defender 1, defender 2, defender 3, yada 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 yada. I just couldn't type one at the moment. You're fine, don't worry. We have the player deck, we have the CPU deck. So these basically hold the information of which one you're choosing. Forgot what the active character portions were for, but that doesn't matter as much right now. Either way. So for the monk character, we have the attacker are making a new character. We have it basically having the name for the character. We have it telling what type it is, so an attack type character, or attacker, but it just has attack there because the other one just has defense, but defender. That's there. Maximum HP for a character, maximum current HP of the character, or current HP versus the maximum HP. Then we have the normal attack, we have the heavy attack, and then we have the art that preloads once you click the character. So I wonder if they could be made into a class. Technically they already are. So here is the basic resource for every character. So the script, the game knows what it's using for characters. As of yesterday, I started working on the abilities, but it was too late and I was basically going insane. But we have basically all the character types right here. So attack, defender, range. And since my Empress cards aren't a separate type, I don't need to add anything in. So that is still there. Yeah. Class name, character stuff. Never thought I would be able to look at another person's code and understand it. I'll tell you where I was at, Gojo, because I was pretty pissed yesterday. It is all the YouTube tutorials are like 3 years back, so that frustrates the crap out of me. And then also, I don't know fully how to grab certain concepts and plug them into my game. Like, there's tons of tutorials currently about